You're looking at a train station in Valencia in Spain that has been hit by a massive power outage.
Spain and Portugal seeing power almost fully restored following a crippling blackout on the Iberian Peninsula.
In Spain, after mass blackouts left millions of people in the dark. The outage also impacted neighbouring Portugal, with authorities now investigating if a cyber attack was to blame.
April 28, 2025. Spain and Portugal go dark. Millions lose power. Trains stop. Hospitals scramble. 4 people die. 1 from a fire. Others from carbon monoxide poisoning. The official story? A glitch in solar energy. But then, a Portuguese minister whispers the word cyberattack. And across Europe, governments start issuing strange advice. Stock up on water, food, candles. Be ready to survive 72 hours without power. Why? What do they know that we don't? Are they bracing for a global blackout that could plunge us into chaos, riots, looting, total panic? The recent blackouts in Spain, Portugal, and southern France weren't just inconvenient. They were a warning, a glimpse of what happens when our hyper-connected world grinds to a halt. But here's the kicker. Governments aren't just shrugging it off. They're telling us to prepare. In the Netherlands, the National Cybersecurity Centre says every household should have an emergency kit, food, water, flashlights, batteries, even cash. Germany's issuing similar warnings. The UK's got campaigns about resilience. Why the sudden push? Are they expecting something bigger? A blackout that doesn't just last hours, but days or weeks? And if it happens, will society hold together? Or will we see chaos like never before? Let's dive into what happened on April 28, 2025.
Tonight, it's not as dark as many had feared it could be, for this street in Madrid at least.
An hour and a half ago, the light's back, but there are certain neighborhoods in Madrid that haven't done it. It's been a bit of a fearful day.
A massive power outage hit southwest Europe. Lisbon, Madrid, Seville, dark. Traffic lights dead. ATMs offline. People trapped in elevators. Restaurants turning away anyone without cash. Spain's grid operator, Red Electrica, blamed a dramatic loss of power generation, maybe tied to solar farms failing. But the details are fuzzy. No clear cause, no smoking gun. And then, a Portuguese official dropped a bombshell. Could this have been a cyber attack? Early investigations say no, but the speculation exploded. Posts on X lit up, with people claiming it wasn't just solar, it was sabotage. A test run, a signal of something bigger. Why the suspicion? Because power grids are fragile. They're not just wires and transformers. They're digital, controlled by software, connected to the internet, and wide open to attack. Think about it. One hacker, one piece of malware could flip the switch on entire cities. It's happened before. In 2015, Ukraine went dark. 700,000 people lost power in a cyber attack. Hackers used malware called Black Energy to take over the grid's controls, shutting off power and wiping systems to delay recovery. It was no accident. It was warfare. And with tensions boiling, Russia, Ukraine, Middle East conflicts, state-sponsored hackers are more active than ever. Could the Spain blackout have been a dry run? A warning shot? But here's where it gets weird. Governments aren't just investigating, they're preparing. The Dutch NCSC says we need to be self-sufficient for 72 hours. Stock up on non-perishable food, water for 3 days, candles, matches, a first aid kit. Germany's Federal Office for Civil Protection is pushing the same message. Be ready for a prolonged outage. The UK is talking about blackout preparedness. This isn't normal. Governments don't tell you to hoard supplies for a storm that's not coming. So, what are they expecting? A cyber attack that takes down the grid? A collapse of the green energy push? Or something they're not telling us? Let's talk about the green energy angle. The Spain blackout was blamed on a dip in solar power. Europe's all in on renewables. Solar, wind, smart grids. Sounds great, right? Cleaner planet, less pollution. But there's a catch. These systems are digital. Solar panels, wind turbines, smart meters. They're all connected, hackable. In 2024, researchers found you could remotely disable solar inverters, the devices that turn sunlight into usable power. Imagine thousands of those going offline at once. Poof, no electricity. And Europe's grid is so interconnected that a failure in one country can cascade. In 2006, a single faulty line in Germany blacked out 9 countries. Now imagine that, but caused by a hacker or a coordinated attack. Here's the scary part. A global blackout isn't just possible, it's plausible. Not the whole planet at once, but entire regions. Europe's grid links 34 countries. One weak point, a substation in France, a control center in Poland, could trigger a domino effect. A 2023 ENISA report warned that smart grids are a hacker's playground. IoT devices, like the ones in your fancy new smart meter, are often poorly secured. A hacker could exploit one device to get into the whole system. And with AI, attacks are getting smarter. Hackers can use artificial intelligence to craft phishing emails that look legit, or scan networks for weaknesses in seconds. Quantum computing? It's coming, and it could crack the encryption protecting our grids. What happens if the lights go out for real? Not for a few hours, but days, weeks. Picture it. No power means no internet, no ATMs, no gas pumps, hospitals on backup generators, but only for so long. Supermarkets empty out, people panic buying what's left. In Spain, the April blackout lasted hours, and 4 people died. Scale that up.
Local time in both Spain and Portugal, multiple towns, multiple cities experiencing a complete electricity outage, a complete power outage. We're talking about tens of millions of people now who are experiencing a total blackout.
A week without power could mean food shortages, no clean water, no heat in winter. And then there's the human element. Panic sets in. People get desperate. In 2003, a blackout in the US and Canada led to looting in some cities. In 1977, New York City's blackout sparked riots, arson, and thousands of arrests. A prolonged blackout in 2025? It could be worse. Will there be riots, looting, total chaos? History says yes. When systems fail, people turn on each other. In Venezuela's 2019 blackouts, hospitals lost power, food spoiled, and looting broke out in Caracas. Social order frays fast when the basics, food, water, safety, are gone. And in a hyper-connected world, we're less prepared than ever. Most of us don't have cash on hand, let alone a stockpile of supplies. X posts after the Spain blackout were wild, people joking about apocalypse vibes. But others were scared, asking if this was the start of something bigger. If a regional blackout hits, expect panic. Expect fights over the last can of soup. Expect cities to burn. But why are governments pushing us to prepare now? That's the million-dollar question. Are they scared of a cyber attack? A collapse of the green energy grid? Or something geopolitical? Let's speculate. The world's tense. Russia's still at it in Ukraine. Middle East conflicts are flaring, and cyber attacks are spiking. In 2024, a ransomware attack hit a Danish energy company messing with wind turbines. If hackers can do that, they can do worse. Some posts on X claim governments are bracing for a digital Pearl Harbor, a coordinated attack to cripple the West. Others say it's the energy transition itself. Renewables are great, but the grid's struggling to keep up. Solar and wind are unpredictable, and the systems controlling them are vulnerable. Are governments hiding a bigger problem? Are they planning for a crisis they can't stop? Let's get real. They're not telling us everything. Governments never do. Look at the Spain blackout. The official line was technical issues, but they didn't rule out sabotage until days later, and those phishing emails that followed, pretending to be from Tap Air Portugal. They targeted regular people, exploiting the chaos. If that was just a glitch, imagine what happens in a real attack. Governments know our grids are weak. They know hackers, whether criminals or state-backed, are circling. And they know a prolonged blackout could break society as we know it. So why the vague stock up advice? Why not come clean? Here's a theory. They're buying time. If they admit the grid's a sitting duck, it'd spark panic now. If they say, hey, Russia or China might hack our power, it's diplomatic chaos. So instead, they tell us to get candles and canned food, hoping we'll be ready when it hits. But ready for what? A cyber attack that shuts off the grid? A green energy failure they can't fix? Or something else entirely, like a controlled blackout to reset the system? X is buzzing with theories. Some say governments are testing us, seeing how we handle a small outage before a bigger one. Others think it's about control. Keep us scared, keep us compliant. The truth? We don't know. But when governments start saying, prepare for 72 hours, they're not doing it for fun. Can we protect ourselves? Yeah, but it's not just about candles. Stock up, sure. Water, food, a flashlight, a radio. The Dutch say 10 liters of water per person for 3 days. Canned goods, batteries, a first aid kit, cash. Because ATMs won't work. But that's just survival. To really fight back, we need to think like the enemy. Cyber criminals exploit chaos. After Spain's blackout, those phishing emails were everywhere, stealing data from people desperate for answers. Don't fall for it. Check every email twice. Don't click links from your bank or your airline during a crisis. Use two-factor authentication and maybe get a generator if you can afford it. But what about society? Can we stop the chaos? That's harder. Governments need to secure the grid, patch those ancient SCADA systems, isolate critical networks, train employees not to click that dodgy link. The EU's spending billions on cybersecurity, but it's a race against time. Hackers are fast, and our grids are old. As individuals, we can prepare, but we can't stop riots. If the shelves are empty, people will fight. If the power's out for weeks, cities will burn. The best defense is community. Know your neighbors, share resources, stay calm. But let's be honest, when push comes to shove, it's every man for himself. So, could a global blackout happen? Yes. A cyber attack could take down Europe's grid or America's or Asia's. A 23 World Economic Forum report said a major cyber attack on infrastructure could cost $250 billion. That's not just money, that's lives, jobs, entire economies, and the chaos. It's not just possible, it's likely. People aren't built for prolonged crises. We saw it in Spain, 4 dead in hours. Scale that up, and it's apocalyptic. Riots, looting, panic. It's not a question of if, but when. Here's the truth they won't tell you. Our world is one click away from collapse. Governments know it. That's why they're telling you to stock up. They're not preparing for a storm. They're preparing for a war, a digital war. And we're the ones who'll pay the price. So what do you think? Are they hiding something? Is a global blackout coming? Have you started preparing? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share your theories. What's the real reason behind these warnings? And if you want to keep digging for the truth, smash that subscribe button. Because when the lights go out, the truth is all we've got.